forward to chatting to my next guest. If you have a pet, you'll know that they quite quickly become like every other member of the family. And one of the biggest worries is what you do with them when you want a break, when you want to go on holiday. Well, my guest this morning has the perfect answer. Send them on a holiday of their own. Tina Young is the owner of Barking Mad in Northumberland, and she's here with me now. Morning.
Morning, hello.
You. I'm surprised you haven't got a little chum round
Oh,
your feet.
I could have brought one, shouldn't I? I didn't know if it was allowed.
Yapping around, that'd be good, wouldn't it? So tell me about Barking Mad. How does it work?
So at Barking Mad, we place dogs in a family home when the owner goes on holiday. So it's for people who have obviously got a dog and they maybe haven't got friends or family that they can call upon, and they don't want to use boarding kennels. They want a home-from-home holiday for their dog. They want their dog to have, sitting on the sofa, cuddles, playing, in and out of the garden, trips to the beach, all the normal stuff that happens at home. That's what they want for their dog. So it's sort of like when we place the dog with a host family, that's the people that look after the dog in their own home. It's sort of like sending the kids to grandma and granddad's.
So that sounds cute. Do you have to sort of do a questionnaire with the owners?
We do it face to face. That's the really, really important bit. We never it's a very bespoke face to face personal service. So what I would do first of all is go out and meet the dog owner at home, because I like to meet the dog and obviously meet the owner, see the environment that it's used to living in. Is it in a really busy house with kids and cats and, busy, or is it in a very quiet home? And then we go through, I'm there for ages, like a couple of hours, really good chat about everything about the dog's temperament, its likes, its dislikes, its favourite toys. Then we'll go into the feeding, what it gets fed, if it's got any allergies, is it on a diet, if it's on any medication, where it sleeps, its exercise, like the whole thing. And then once we really have a good idea of the dog, and obviously we've met the dog and we see its temperament, then I match the dog up with a host family. So I've got loads of host families in Northumberland. They're typically retired people who they've had dogs all of their life, and then when their own dogs have passed away, they love the freedom. I can go on holiday whenever I like because I'm not committed to my dog, but actually they miss having a dog around. They miss the company and the walks, and so that's why they become a host for us.
And presumably you have to do a questionnaire with them as well, do you?
Yeah.
What they're
so they get in touch with me and say, I like this, I've heard about Barking Mad, I want to look after a dog. So I would sort of have a chat on the phone first. I want to know all about them. I want to know their experience, and then I'll go out to see them at home because I want to see the house. I want to see their garden. Is their garden secure? Do they live in a nice house in a nice area? And what sort of people are they and why they're doing this? Because it's not a job. It's more like a voluntary role, and they're doing it because they miss having a dog around. The women tend to like the cuddles and the strokes and somebody to talk to, and the husbands tend to like to get out and walk because they're retired and they've worked all their life, and then they're retired and they're like, I don't know what to do. So actually having a dog gives them structure. They get up, they get, your dog, off we go, and we'll go for a walk, and dogs are well exercised. And
do you have to have had a dog before, or could someone sign up if they've never had a dog?
They could. Usually it's people that have had dogs, and that's because they've got the experience, because they know that I absolutely love dogs, but sometimes when it's awful weather outside, they come back and they're muddy and they cover the place in hair and they can be poorly and you've got to pick up the poo and all of these sort of things. It's important that people are experienced and they know what they're taking on. So I wouldn't like to take somebody on that just thought, that sounds like a good idea. It's got to be a little bit more well thought through. But over the years, I have had people that have had experience maybe before they got married. They used to always have dogs, and they stopped having dogs because they were working, so they might have had long spells without a dog. But generally people have got the experience.
So it's not the sort of thing to sort of try before you buy?
Yes, that's not the idea. The idea is because I always think of the customers are paying for this service, so it's not sort of an experiment. It's actually their dog is being properly assessed, find out what the dog needs, and then placing the dog with a family who's going to look after it just like the owner, who's got the experience of, perhaps they've got experience of that breed, or they've got experience of giving a dog medication, or maybe a dog needs loads and loads of exercise, and I place it with a host who's really active, who'll get out and give it loads of exercise.
And would you take all breeds?
Yeah, there's no breed that I would say no to. It's more about the characteristics, the behaviour and the routine of the dog. So if, for instance, I met an owner and I felt that lovely people, lovely dog, but I'm so sorry I don't have a host family that's able to cope with the behaviour or the routine of what your dog needs, then I sometimes do have to turn people down, just because it might be, say for instance, if it's a giant big dog and it's dead strong on the lead and all I've got is a little old lady available, I would know that wouldn't be fair on the dog, or it wouldn't be fair on the host. They're not a good match, because that dog would have her over. So it's all about really not necessarily the breed, it's about the temperament and the behaviour and the routine.
My in-laws have got a lovely dog, a Tibetan Terrier.
Aww.
And when we've looked after her, she pines, like she knows my husband really, really well, because he had her from a puppy. But she pines and she's just not comfortable with me. So is there a situation where these dogs, you know, they're not with their owners and they don't settle? What would happen in instances like that?
I think it's because I've been doing this 12 years now, and I've found that if we do that initial assessment properly and take the time to get to know the owners, what type of people they are, what type of dog they have and what their dog needs, and then carefully match them with the right family. So for instance, if you had sort of a really nervous sort of elderly dog, it just wants a quiet life, it just wants peace and quiet to sit on the sofa and be stroked and cuddled and a little tootle around the block, I would place that with one of my little old ladies who can replicate home life. If I took that dog and put it into a really busy family where there's kids and dogs and noise, that dog might be thinking, this is awful, I don't like it here, and it might not settle. So I think it's all about the match, get the match right so that it's as seamless as possible, and it's not, the host family's not the owner, but it's as close as we can get it. That's the idea.
How pampered are some of the dogs you come
Quite
across?
pampered.
I was going to say, because sometimes you hear these, they'll only eat steak, and you've got to brush their hair 1,400 times a day, and, you know, what's the most pampered dog you've heard?
Well, I always say to you, when I go out to owners and I ask them all these questions, I always say there's no right or wrong answer. I'm not here to judge you or to say that you should be feeding your dog this or you shouldn't be doing that, because that would be awful if I was to do that. So I just take the information and then I just look at my horse and go, who would be good with this dog? This dog needs its teeth brushing on a Friday, or this dog needs scrambled egg for breakfast on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then I would pick a horse that go, oh yeah, that makes sense. You know, so the two sort of, they're a good match for each other. Or if a dog's, like, one of the biggest things is dogs that sleep upstairs in the owner's bedroom. That's really common.
Right.
So I would choose a horse that would let the dog sleep upstairs in their bedroom, because we've got a nice match. And dogs that sort of, they might have certain treats. You know, it might be a dog might not settle at bedtime because it hasn't had its 3 gravy bones, because that's what happens at home. So it's really important that the host knows, because I prepare all of the notes for the host, give the dog the 3 gravy bones at bedtime, because that's what happens at home. So yeah, it's just, we take all the information, just match it against the host, who'll sort of say, yeah, I'll do that.
What did you do before you did this?
I used to, well, funnily enough, I started working life as a travel agent. I worked at Thomas Cook, so I arranged holidays for humans. Now I'm arranging holidays for dogs.
Oh, so there's a sort of crossover.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. In between that, I worked. I worked in management. I worked in the call centres for a telecommunications company, and then also in banking. And I was just sort of working up the career ladder. I quite liked managing large teams of people, and then got the sort of ultimate job, the top job, and just hated it. Thought, oh my God, this is just not me. I don't like it. I felt like a square peg in a round hole, and I just thought I can't be myself. And that's why I love doing what I do now, because I can be myself.
And you've got 6 staff, is it, on the team?
I have now, yeah. I used to work from home. I started life in a bedroom, running it by myself, and I did everything. And then just things change over the last 12 years. I've got 2 kids now, so now I've got a little office, and there's 6 of us now. So I've grown.
I've got tons to ask you. Stick around, because loads more to chat about.
Okay.
I'm Kirsten O'Brien, and my guest on the show at the moment is the owner of Barking Mad in Northumberland, Tina Young. We were chatting a little bit earlier about how she left her job in management at a call centre to set up what she describes as a travel agent for dogs when she bought the franchise in 2005. Is this a nationwide
It is,
franchise?
yeah. It started in 2000 over in Kirby Lonsdale in the Lake District, and then Lee Dancy, who's the founder, ran the business for a couple of years and then franchised it, and so it's been franchised. I bought my franchise in 2005, And when I went across to meet them, we had our business meeting, and I'm deciding whether to buy this business. It was very serious and very professional and whatnot. And then she just stopped mid-sentence, turned and looked at her dog and went, "Hello, Brandy, she will give you a little dog treat." And I thought, I can work with you. This is the type of business I want to be involved in, because you can be yourself. And yeah.
And you've now got 5 employees, and you've been asked to give a talk about your business at International Women's Day next Wednesday.
I have, yes.
Have you written it already? Do you know what you're going to say?
Yeah, I wrote it weeks and weeks ago, and I've been practicing it. Every time I'm in the car, I say it out loud, and I've been practicing it for weeks. And last night, I decided to totally change it and rewrite it.
Oh.
So I'm back to square one. But yeah, I've got the bones of it, and I'm just practicing it all the time.
Because last year you had to take a little bit of a step back from the business, didn't you? You will tell me about that.
I was diagnosed with breast cancer in January, and so once I got over the initial shock, I got the team together at work, and we sort of put the coffee on, got the bickies out and went, right, what do we need to do? I need your help. Help us get through this. We've got to work together to get through it. And what I didn't want to do is, I've worked so hard on my business and I love it. I just didn't want it to go down the tubes because I was ill, and if customers couldn't book the holidays with me, would they go elsewhere? And once they've gone elsewhere, I might not get them back. So I was really worried about the business. I basically said to the team, what needs to happen? Let's talk about what needs to happen for the business to run smoothly, and then tell me what you can help with. And they were saying, I'll do this, don't ask me to do that, don't ask me to do this, but I'll do it. And basically as a team we came up with everything, and then I just quickly trained them, upskilled them, so that basically if I was on my deathbed for the 12 months, I knew that the business would run smoothly. And from a customer's point of view, I was hoping they wouldn't see any difference. They wouldn't know I was having cancer treatment, because everything was covered, and the team were just, I couldn't have done it without them. I'm forever grateful to them.
Is it hard in a situation like that, when it is your own business, to take a step back, or did you physically have to because you were ill?
Well, there was points where I felt a bit sorry for myself, where I thought, I wish I could just have a sick note and just get under the duvet and never come out for about a month. But when you're self-employed, you can't do that, because I actually did go into work every day, because I wanted to still be involved and I wanted to support them, and I didn't want them to think that I was asking for the help, but that I was just dropping them and saying get on with it. So I still went into work every day, but I might only do maybe 2 or 3 hours, and then I'd have to go back for a little sleep, because chemotherapy is awful. Chemotherapy is really tough, and I had radiotherapy and surgery as well, so I had to sort of do what I could, but be kind to myself and think, actually, I can't work at full pelt like I used to. So I couldn't have done it without them. And my husband, he sort of sacrificed his business so that he could give up half of the week to support me in my business as well.
Did you find in that situation, because they always say dogs are sensitive to things like this, did you find anything like that?
Well, because I'm not directly involved in the dog, when I was poorly and my hair fell out and my eyelashes and my eyebrows, I didn't want to go out and do customer visits. I was quite happy to walk around Baldy, walking around the Metro Centre and with my friends and my family, but I didn't want to go out and with me, my work head on and go and visit a new customer, Baldy. So I trained up Jenny to do that, so she took care of that. So I did, and I also didn't collect dogs and take them on the holidays, so I didn't come into contact with any of the dogs during that period. I was really just office-based and overseeing everything and making sure everything still worked and everybody knew what they were doing. But so no, it didn't really affect the dogs or the customers.
And you found a lot of comfort in the Where Now workshops.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me about those.
Well, when you come to the end of your treatment and, my hair's grown back.
Yeah, looks
and
smashing.
People, thank you.
You're rocking it.
And people go, oh, you're fixed. You're fixed now. You haven't got cancer anymore. But in your head, you're still like a bit traumatised and thinking, what was that all about? And so they know that Maggie Centre next to the Freeman Hospital is a centre for cancer sufferers and cancer survivors, and they know that obviously when you come to the end of your cancer treatment, you're a little bit traumatised by it all and you need a little bit of help just sort of getting to the next step. You can't go back to normal because it won't be the same again. So it's called Where Now, and the workshop, it's a 7-week programme and I'm still on it, and I'll absolutely love it. It's really helpful. The first part of the workshop is exercise, because you're so fatigued from chemotherapy that even just walking around is quite tiring. So you do an exercise class and then they invite guest speakers in, and it could be about nutrition. Yesterday it was about mindfulness. It could be about nutrition, mindfulness. What else have we done? Psychology, like just the psychology of receiving a cancer diagnosis, what that does to your head, and fitness, and I don't know what the plan is next week. But it's really good, and you're sitting with all these other women. It's for men as well, other people who have survived cancer. So we all have lots in common, and we can all support one another and cry and laugh and tell stories, and it's really,
has
really
it
good.
Altered the way you approach life, having gone through this, do you think? In what way?
I think I'm sort of, I think I'm quite proud of myself that I've gotten through it, and I'm sort of, it makes you realise how many, how you're just surrounded by friends and family that love you, and that's nice.
It's incredible to
and
hear.
it's just sort of, I'm just quite proud that I got through it, but I didn't get through it on my own. I got through it because I'm surrounded by,
That's absolutely fine. It's incredible to hear, as I say. And are you going to be bringing this to your talk when you do it for International Women's Day? Is that part of your talk?
But I don't want to cry, and I don't want to make everyone else cry, so I need to get it together. That is part of my speech, but only at the end. I'm not talking about the whole thing. I'm just talking about the brief that I got from Sharon MacArthur, who is one of the organisers, was just to talk about my story. So it's really how I became bark and mad, what I did beforehand, and about my business, and then and at the end, talking briefly
Nothing
about
wrong with a bit of emotion, in the room.
I do like to cry.
It's good. What's next then for you? Apart from this talk, obviously.
I know, well, I sort of felt as though this year I just fancied an easy life, maybe a bit of easiness.
Fair enough, yes.
Because last year was quite tough, and I've just taken on an extra couple of drivers. They're the ones that help us get the dogs from A to B. So they collect the dog from the customer, take it on holiday to the host family. So I've got 4 drivers. I've got one lady that helps us in the office, and there's me. So I feel like we're all set for a busy year. But I would like things just to run smoothly and just be quite easy, because last year was quite hard.
Yes, and put your feet up a bit. Goodness me. Well, look, it's lovely to hear from you. And your International Women's Day talk, it's a free event. It's at Hope Street in Sunderland next Wednesday.
Yeah.
It's going on between 8:30 and 2. Do we know what time you're on?
I'm on at 11:20.
Right.
Precisely. I've been given 20 minutes. I'm a bit of a talker. I'm timing myself, so don't go over.
I
have. Yeah, I have. But it should be brilliant. I'm really excited. It's it's a global event. It's, there's events happening all over the world, and it's all about celebrating women's achievements and sort of breaking down barriers for women. And one thing, on Saturday, my little girl's 9th birthday, and they were all taught, one of the girls plays football, and I said to her, when I was little, girls couldn't play football, and they looked at us like I was from a different planet, and they didn't know what I was talking about. And I said to my PE teacher, I want to play football, I don't want to play netball. And he said, well, you can't, you're a girl. And I just accepted it. And now these little 9-year-olds, they play football, and they don't question why on earth shouldn't I be able to. So that's what International Women's Day is all about, is just sort of breaking down barriers, and sort of girls should be equal to boys, and the opportunities they have in life and the jobs that they might take, and also celebrating women's achievements as well.
Absolutely. Well, I'm sure your talk will be a storming success, and it's lovely to meet you.
Thank you, lovely to meet you.
And all the best with your business going forward.
You.
Thank you, Tina.
Thank you.